The time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Lal Malavarachi and read by Tilani Pires. The government says development projects will be carried out without trapping the country with debt. The new education modernization program will commence from January next year. Minister Ramesh Patirana says that the COVID-19 pandemic in the country will end in the next 3 to 6 months. The total number of coronavirus recoveries in Sri Lanka rises to 21,258. There is a risk of COVID-19 spreading in the Ragama hospital, where bodies of the prisoners killed in the Mahara prison riot are placed. And on news overseas, the first person receives COVID-19 vaccine in the UK. And on sports news, Kane Williamson has jumped to joint second with Virat Kohli in the ICC Test rankings. The State Minister for Finance, Ajit Niwad Kabral, stated in Parliament that the government is taking steps to carry out development projects without trapping the country with debt. The minister said that the government has clearly identified the projects that need to be given priority. Among them are water supply projects and the project of carpeting 100,000 roads. He stated this responding to an oral question posed by the leader of the opposition, Sajid Premadasa, with regard to the government's decision to halt the Kalani Valley Railway modernization project. The minister further said that it is not the policy of the government to carry out projects only by obtaining foreign loans, but to prioritize the country and to carry out projects while obtaining the support of local businesses. The minister stressed that the existing bilateral relations with the government of Japan have not deteriorated in any way. He said that the construction of the new Kalani Bridge and the development of the Katunayake Airport would continue with the assistance of a Japanese loan. The minister said that a large amount of money was lost due to the suspension of the Port City project and Sri Lankan Airlines projects by the previous government. The Minister of Education, Professor G.L. Pires, says that ragging will be totally eliminated from the university system in Sri Lanka. Many students have even sacrificed their lives due to this inhumanness. The main problem of the education sector is those existing courses are not job-oriented. The government will change them to suit the current job market. The new education modernization program will commence from January next year. 10,500 more students will be enlisted to universities next year. Co-Cabinet spokesperson Minister Dr. Ramesh Patirana says that the country will see the end of COVID-19 pandemic in the next 3 to 6 months. Addressing the media briefing held at Government Information Department today, the minister said that the World Health Organization WHO has already prepared a program to provide vaccines and that the Ministry of Health has already held discussions with the WHO to obtain the vaccine. Minister Patirana also said that government would consider a locally produced drug to treat COVID-19. Meanwhile, the epidemiology unit of the Health Ministry says that another 454 patients who had been infected with the COVID-19 have recovered and discharged from hospitals within the last 24 hours. This increases the total number of coronavirus recoveries in Sri Lanka to 21,258. Meanwhile, 703 positive cases of COVID-19 and 2 deaths related to the virus have been reported within the last 24 hours. Total confirmed cases are 28,580. A total of 7,671 infected patients are currently being treated at hospitals, while the death toll from the virus stands at 142. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Sri Lanka recorded its youngest COVID-19 related deaths as a 20-day-old infant who had contracted the virus passed away today. Health authorities confirmed that the infant was admitted to the Lady Ridgeway Hospital for Children in Colombo last night and had been diagnosed with pneumonia. The Attorney General's Department and Sri Lanka Police were represented by State Counsel Nishara Jayaratne in the court today. Making submissions, she said there is a risk of COVID-19 spreading in the Ragama hospital, where the bodies of the prisoners killed in the Mahara prison riot are placed, as 8 of the victims had tested positive for the virus. Making an application, she said the Attorney General had recommended for the appointment of a panel of experts comprising of 3 senior judicial medical officers and a ballistic expert from the Government Analyst Department to conduct the post-mortem on the deceased. Making further submissions, the State Council noted, following the post-mortem, the bodies will have to be cremated as per the given health guidelines. However, Council of the aggrieved party had requested for an additional doctor from a university be appointed to the committee. But the AG's department had vehemently objected to the appointments of an additional doctor from a university. However, on the need to expedite the process, the Attorney General's department said if the court issues an order, a request can be forwarded the President of the College of Forensic Pathologists of Sri Lanka to make a nomination to the Committee of Experts. That ends local news for now.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Cabinet of Ministers has given approval for a program to increase the number of national schools in the country to 1,000. The Government Information Department said the program is expected to be implemented in 3 phases. Minister of Education, Professor G.L. Pires, has presented a proposal to develop one selected provincial council school as a national school in each of the 123 divisional secretariat divisions where there are no national schools. This will accordingly be the first phase of the program. Under the second phase, 673 schools elected on the basis of identified criteria as national schools. Under the third phase, existing 373 national schools will be further developed. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And on Watchlight tonight, Wildlife and Forest Conservation Minister C.B. Ratnayaka says that he will solve the human-elephant conflict in the Kurunegala district soon. Addressing a meeting of farmers of the Galgamu electorate at Atuava, the minister said that about 7 elephants and 3 people have been killed this year within the Galgamu electorate. About 70 houses of farmers are reported to have been destroyed by wild elephants in 2020. He added that the government will safeguard both the wild elephants and human lives alike while attempting to solve this problem forever. That came to you in Watchlight. Moving on with world news and the headlines first. First person receives COVID-19 vaccine in the UK. Around 700 civilians were killed by US airstrikes in Afghanistan in 2019. Mount Everest grows by nearly a meter to new height. A UK grandmother has become the first person in the world to be given the Pfizer COVID-19 jab as part of a mass vaccination program. Margaret Keenan, who turns 91 next week, said it was the best early birthday present. She was given the injection at 06:31 this evening, the first of 800,000 doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine that will be dispensed in the coming weeks. Up to 4 million more are expected by the end of the month. The number of Afghan civilians killed in airstrikes carried out by the US and its allies has risen to 330% since 2017, a US study says. In 2019, around 700 civilians were killed, the cost of the war project at Brown University says. It is the highest figure since the first years of the US-led offensive following the 9/11 attacks in 2001. The group attributes the rising figures to the US relaxing its rules of engagement in 2017. The world's highest mountain, Mount Everest, is 0.86 meters higher than had been previously officially calculated, Nepal and China have jointly announced. Until now, the countries differed over whether to add the snow cap on top. The new height is 8,848.86 meters, 29,032 feet. China's previous official measurement of 8,844.43 meters had put the mountain 4 meters lower than Nepal's. Everest stands on the border between China and Nepal, and mountaineers climb it from both sides. Back to the world news headlines. First person receives COVID-19 vaccine in the UK. Around 700 civilians were killed by US airstrikes in Afghanistan in 2019. Mount Everest grows by nearly a meter to new height. That ends world news. Moving on with development news, Minister Dalla Salha Peruma says that the Thamba Pavani Wind Power Complex is a milestone in renewable energy in the country. He said that it is an investment in the environment of the country. The minister was speaking today at the opening ceremony of the Sri Lanka's biggest wind power plant built in Mannar. He said that laying the foundation stone for the country's first LNG power plant next month is another significant event in the process. That came to you in development news. Coming up, sports news. Kane Williamson, who began New Zealand's test summer at home with a career best 251 in the first of two tests against West Indies in Hamilton, has jumped to joint second with Virat Kohli in the ICC test rankings. The two of them are on 886 rating points, 25 behind the top-ranked Stephen Smith. Smith, however, might be in with a shot of extending his lead because while Australia, India and New Zealand are all scheduled to play test cricket over the next 6 weeks, Kohli is likely to miss 3 of India's 4 tests in Australia as he goes on paternity leave. Williamson, too, could miss some test action at home against Pakistan to be with his partner for the birth of their first child. He should, however, play the second test against West Indies and could be back for the second test against Pakistan starting January 3rd. That was sports news. And right now we have a business news. Locally produced turmeric is now made available in the market mainly through individual growers. The government, in a bid to encourage local, small to medium-sized growers and also save foreign exchange, banned the imports of turmeric to Sri Lanka in December 2019. However, this led to a huge smuggling business of turmeric mainly from India. The demand for the spice doubled after the import ban as supermarkets ran out of stock within weeks. That ends business news.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Information Communication Technology Service exports have grown 5.2% year-on-year in 2019. ICT has been an identified area for potential growth as an export industry by both the industry and the broader export supporting stakeholders. ICT has grown from a $1.035 billion industry in 2018 to a $1.089 billion industry in 2019. A digital marketing campaign is underway to promote the Sri Lankan ICT BPM brand. The brand IOI, the Island of Ingenuity, is to strengthen the country's positioning in target markets to make Sri Lanka a sourcing destination of knowledge services. That was economic news.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
No, Amma. We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
Oh, really? How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy. She might be feeling very uncomfortable. The airport must be heavily crowded because it's a season.
Amma, calm down. Everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge. There's nothing to worry.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And now to conclude the weather report, the Met Department says several spells of showers will occur in the northern, eastern and Uva provinces and in Anuradhapura and Hambantota districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the Sabaragamuwa, central and western provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts in the night. Meanwhile, the Natural Hazards Early Warning Centre has issued a warning of severe lightning in several provinces today. That was the weather report. And now to end this news broadcast, the main points once again. The government says development projects will be carried out without trapping the country with debt. The new education modernization program will commence from January next year. Minister Ramesh Pathirana says that the COVID-19 pandemic in the country will end in the next 3 to 6 months. The total number of coronavirus recoveries in Sri Lanka rises to 21,258. There's a risk of COVID-19 spreading in the Ragama hospital, where bodies of the prisoners killed in the Mahara prison riot are placed. And on news overseas, the first person receives COVID-19 vaccine in the UK. And on sports news, Kane Williamson has jumped to joint second with Virat Kohli in the ICC Test rankings. That ends this news broadcast.